And now it's a great honor to welcome to the program the Tennessee yodeler herself, Margo Smith. Margo, can you hear me all right?
I sure can.
Oh, that's fabulous. It's a great honor to have you here on the program. Thank you so much for
You are very
appearing
welcome.
here.
I'm so glad you called me.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And I guess maybe if we could start back at the beginning, if that's all right.
Sure.
I find that's probably the best place to start in some cases. So you were born in Dayton, Ohio, correct?
Well, I was born, not in Dayton actually, but I was born in Urbana. That's a very, very small town. But I was born in Ohio, and I sang at the age of 5. Taught myself how to play piano when I was about 5 or 6 by ear. I sang "Jesus Wants Me for a Sunbeam." That was my first song ever. And when I got to the church, I said, "I can't sing this song because you don't have a piano. I have to have my pitch." And my mom said, "Sing the song." I said, "I have to have my pitch." You don't understand? She said, "Sing the song." And I sang the song. I was 5.
And so you were able to get the Grand Ole Opry all right in Ohio from where you were, because that was a pretty powerful
I listened
station.
to it. See, my daddy was a farmer, and we listened to the Opry in the barn while I was milking cows.
And so, did you grow up listening to primarily country music, or did you listen to some of the popular crooners of the day?
I listened when I was very, very young. I only listened to country music because that's what my daddy played. But as I got older, I listened to Fats Domino and Elvis, but I always liked country. But I liked Elvis too. Oh my gosh! And Fats Domino, all those people, they're great.
And so, how old did you say? Because I think you told us when you first started singing, but I'm not quite sure if you told us.
5.
5 years old, and that's when you started the piano playing too.
Yeah.
So, though you loved to sing, you didn't actually set out to make a living, as I understand it, as a singer. You ended up going to college and graduating, and you started working as a primary school teacher, I believe.
Yes. I was a teacher, and then I liked the little kids a lot better, so I got some more hours, and then I became a kindergarten teacher.
And so I understand that you would use your songs in your lesson plans for your classes.
Absolutely. I'd say, "Listen here, you guys, if you don't behave, we won't sing today." And I'd take my ukulele or an old beat-up guitar, and they loved that. They'd get everything done so we could have fun and sing.
So could you tell us what led you to start performing in public? Because I think at that point, other than church and for your class, you hadn't really started...
Well, when I was about 12 or 13, I had a good friend, and her name was Susie. And Susie and I were best friends, and we could play ukuleles, and we could both sing. So we called ourselves the Apple Sisters, Corey and Ceedie. And I don't know which one I was. Maybe I was Corey. I don't know. But Ceedie was fine with me. And we dressed up in burlap sacks, literally burlap sacks, and we sang as... the Apple Sisters, and we sang songs like Mountain Dew and all kinds of those old songs, and we went on TV, and we actually won a couple of times in Columbus, Ohio. But then it got too hard, and then we finally had to say, okay, at least we won 2 times. But that was fun, and the first name I had was the Apple Sisters, Corey and Ceedie, and I think I was 12.
So did you end up having your own radio show soon after that, or did you just make guest appearances on local radio programs?
No, I didn't have a radio show. I just made guest appearances. No radio show for me.
So, but you ended up sort of continuing your public performances after you graduated, and were teaching. You ended up performing at some PTA meetings, I believe.
Oh, I did, yeah. I would sing for PTA, and then I would sing for the Lions Club, and I would sing for all those things because my husband, at that time, my husband was a banker, and they didn't want to pay anything, but it was fun for me because I started writing songs at that time. And then, let me think now, what else did I do? Oh, I went to Wheeling, West Virginia. I would go to Wheeling, West Virginia and drive all that way, and my pay was $15. That's how much I made. That's the first money I ever made for singing. It was $15.
So who would you say, if you had to name a few? I know you mentioned some in the rock and roll field, but as far as country singers, would have been your influences. I know probably Patsy Montana is on the top of that list.
Yeah, her. And I loved, there were songs that Loretta wrote that I loved. I loved Tammy Wynette. I did. I like Anne Murray a lot because she has a very deep voice. I have a different kind of a voice, and that's probably why I like her so much. But I don't know who and of course I loved Connie Francis. I did some of her songs.
Well,
the first number one song I ever had was Don't Break the Heart That Loves You, and that was a Connie Francis song.
So how long was it after you started singing and performing in public that you were signed to 20th Century Records?
Oh, my gosh. I taught for a number of years. I was in my 30s before I ever... here's what happened. I was teaching school, and I went to Nashville, and they said, man, we like your songs. We really, really like your songs. So I told my students, I said, I'm quitting teaching, and I'm going to go to Nashville. And everybody thought, all my friends, my brother, everybody said, you're nuts, you're crazy. Going to Nashville at 30-some years old, and you're going to try to get a record deal. Well, I quit teaching, and I loved teaching, but it was just something I had to do. So I went to Nashville. I didn't know a soul in Nashville, but I met a guy named Jim Glazer, of Tom, Paul, and the Glazer brothers.
Oh, of course. Jim Glazer will be on the program sometime in the near future, so that's fun.
Well, I met Jim, and he said, I'm going to get you a record deal. I like your songs. So he went to Jim Vino at 20th Century Fox, and he got me my first record deal. But I was on first good record deal. I was on Chart Records for a little while. Lynn Anderson was also on that label. But Jim got me signed to 20th Century Fox. I wrote a song called Dare I Said It, and that record went to top 10, and that was my first record on 20th Century Fox. It went to top 10. It was called Dare I Said It, and I wrote it.
In your self-titled album, Margo Smith was pretty popular at that time, too. And so what was it like to record your first album? What was that experience like?
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And 20th Century, then I wrote another song called Paper Lovin'. And we were just getting going on Paper Loving', and everything was going really well. And 20th Century says, we're not going to do country anymore. We're not doing it anymore. We're done. So I thought, oh my gosh, now I don't have a label. What am I going to do? So I waited for a while, and Jim thought, well, I'll try to get you another label. And then another guy, then there was a guy that called me. His name was Al Gallico from New York, and he said, I like your voice. I really do. It's different. It's unique. And I'm going to see about getting you a contract with Warner Brother Records. And so he did. And I got a contract with Warner Brother Records. They put out songs like Save Your Kisses for Me, Take My Breath Away, which I wrote. They put out songs like Take My Breath Away. I wrote that one. They put out songs like I'm trying to think of some other ones that were self-penned.
Well, wasn't it? Was
that the Shuffle Song? The Shuffle Song. They put that one out.
Just what we just heard. The Shuffle Song as you were coming in right before you came on. I really like that. That's pretty good rhyming in there. I thought when you mentioned Stephen Foster, your rhyme. Pretty impressive, I think.
And that little song was in a movie with Angie Dickerson.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was in a movie. Not a great movie, but every time they played me a shuffle song, I made money. So I liked that song a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
I did.
So, was it after you were signed to Warner Brothers, was that when you first met producer Nora Wilson?
It was,
And wasn't it Nora who would produce some of your biggest hits?
Yes,
records including Don't Break the Heart That Loves You and Only Hurts for a Little While, Little Things Mean a Lot, If I Give My Heart to You.
He produced all of those.
And now, all of those hits that I just mentioned here, that we mentioned, were previously recorded as pop hits in the 1950s. Connie Francis recorded one, and quite a number of other folks. And so, was it your idea to remake those songs in a country style, or was it Nora's idea? It
was not my idea or Nora's. I had a housekeeper, and she said, I know a song that would suit you. And her name was Judy, and Judy brought a song called Don't Break the Heart That Loves You. I took it to Nora, and he said, that's it right there. So it was not Nora, it was neither me nor Nora. It was a housekeeper that brought the song to me. Then I took it to Nora.